Thank you so much. Thank you. It's such a pleasure and an honor for me to be here today with you, all of you, and I thank you, Jack, for that overly generous introduction, but it was really nice to hear. I'm also delighted to be here with our very honored mayor, who is a wonderful partner to all of us in higher education. I think we call him the education mayor for very good reason, and so we are very grateful for all he does for us and for the many students and institutions across the common, across the city. I'm also delighted to be in the company of not just Keith Motley, but the Motley family, to meet his daughters and his mother and his wife. It's a great day, and I congratulate you on all that's to come in the rest of the 24 hours ahead of you. I also greet and thank Congressman Lynch and Senator Hart for their presence and for all they've done to make this day possible. Earlier this week, President Barack Obama spoke at the National Academy of Sciences. But he might have been addressing those of us gathered here this morning to celebrate the opening of this inspiring new venture development center. The president said, "At such a difficult moment, there are those who say we cannot afford to invest in science, that support for research is somehow a luxury at moments defined by necessities. I fundamentally disagree. Science is more essential for our prosperity, our security, our health, our environment, and our quality of life than it ever has been before." As we and our colleagues in universities around the nation consider how to make fewer dollars pay for more, as we attempt to balance yesterday's commitments with today's realities and tomorrow's needs, we must heed that clarion call. We must remember that as we struggle with our own challenges, we are at the same time being looked to for national and international solutions. I believe that we in Massachusetts are uniquely prepared to answer the President's summons. Through the breakthroughs that result from our research, through the concentration and collaboration of institutions that are anchored here, and through our shared capacity for the innovation that helps to drive scientific as well as economic progress. It is not by accident that we in Boston and in Massachusetts are on sounder economic ground than much of the rest of the nation. As I've noted on previous occasions, Harvard is the second largest private employer in the Boston area. But we are only part of a massive higher education sector that is the envy of the world. Statewide, private higher education employs more than double the entire biotechnology sector in Massachusetts. There are 90,000 employees in the Boston metropolitan area, employed at private colleges and universities. Add to that the faculty, researchers, and staff at UMass and other public colleges in our state, and the sector represents more employees than all of this region's computer hardware, software, and services businesses, or this region's banking, securities, and investment industries combined. The power of those numbers explains a Boston Globe report that Massachusetts was spared much of national economic downturn during 2008, adding jobs and sustaining employment levels above the national rates, thanks to our strong technology, health, and higher education sectors. In fact, between March 2008 and 2009, public and private employment at colleges in the Boston metro area increased by 2%. While we continue to navigate through uncharted economic waters, in past recessions, our university and hospital sector has been a very strong moderating force. In 2000 and 2001, while the Boston area overall saw its unemployment rate rise, the area's 8 research universities actually added jobs, softening the blow to our region. and it was the same story in 1990 and 1991. While 2009 has certainly brought challenging news to all of us, in the Boston metro area, the education and health services sectors have continued to be a stabilizing economic influence that has protected us from some of the blows that are buffeting other regions of the country. We are in this enviable position because our institutions, including UMass, Tufts, Northeastern, Boston University, MIT, and Harvard, together form an enormous engine, an engine that's fueled by curiosity and by a mission to stretch the boundaries of new knowledge, an engine that drives the Boston area and state economy, and an engine that binds us together through collaborations and innovation, and an engine that must continue to do so in order to ensure not just the region's future, but our nation's future. Just how unusual is our community? Consider this. In 2007, Massachusetts faculty and students received approximately $2.3 billion, or 10% of all extramural research dollars distributed by the National Institutes of Health. Our colleges and universities are magnets for funding from outside sources like the NIH because of the excellence of the faculty and students we attract. And we spend these considerable dollars, bringing them from the outside and using them here in Massachusetts. One of the most significant things about our research universities is that they are engines that also produce the fuel, the scientists, the physicians, the engineers, the thinkers, the ideas that spur new products, the new jobs, the new companies that will help renew our economy and power the nation's recovery. Mayor Menino understands this, and his advocacy, along with that of leaders on Beacon Hill, has helped ensure that Boston and Massachusetts will continue to be the world's leading idea factory, even during these challenging times. That strategy is working. Just about a month ago, the Howard Hughes Medical Institute announced that it was placing a $200 million nationwide bet on 50 new early career scientists. It will fund these young scientists for the next 6 years. 10 of these scientists, 10 out of 50, 10 of these best of the best, 10 of these young men and women that the Institute believes will be the leaders of the next generation of scientists, 10 of them come from institutions here in our area. 3 from MIT, 5 from Harvard, and 2 from the University of Massachusetts. Think about that for a minute. 20% of those selected from the entire United States come from a single region of a single state. 20% of the brightest young biomedical minds in the nation could hop on the red line to get together for a meeting. I rode the red line here this morning, and I know that it's far more than a subway line, far more than a transportation artery. It's a highly useful reminder of where we've been and where we are and where we can go if we commit to working together to get there. The red line is not just transportation. It connects programs, it connects institutions, and most important, it connects people who are the most efficient translators of ideas, innovation, and knowledge. It provides us with a vision of what our community was, what it is, what it can become. But this unassuming transit line is a kind of ruby necklace with jewels that include, to name a few, Tufts, Harvard, Novartis, Amgen, MIT, the Broad, the Whitehead, Massachusetts General Hospital, the Federal Reserve Bank, and of course, the University of Massachusetts, Boston, and the Venture Development Center, whose creation we celebrate today. Let me offer you just a quick illustration of what I mean. A little